I am Lo from Excel Software, and today I want to share some features of this AutoCount Multi-Currency Module with everyone. Since this multi-currency module is quite extensive with many features, I will split it into two parts to make this video.
Version 1.0 includes the most basic functions, while version 2.0 has more advanced features or some settings. So version 1.0 is for basic use of the AutoCount and multi-currency module, and version 2.0 often deals with unexpected situations or settings you might need. After watching this video, you can check out our version 2.0. For this multi-currency, actually AutoCount is a free module. Even the cheapest account plus already includes this multi-currency module. So multi-currency means you can use different countries' currencies for buying and selling, or if your bank uses different currencies, this is the multi-currency module.
Alright, so in this part 1, I will cover things like maintaining currencies, setting different currency rates at different times, or assigning different currencies to debtors and creditors, or using different currencies for bank accounts. Then I will show some transactions, and when making payments, you can use Malaysian ringgit or the debtors or creditors currency. Made will automatically calculate the currency difference, meaning when your customer buys the invoice, you give it to them at $4, but when they pay back, it's only $3.80, so you lose 0.2. Later, I will show some reports. The entire video covers these areas. So without further ado, let's first see how the currency operates.
When you enter AutoCount, there is a general and currency maintenance here. You can see that you cannot enter any currency. It must be only one currency, which is Malaysian ringgit.
To enable different currencies, you must enable this module. Go to Tools, Module Settings, and tick the Multi-Currency module. After ticking it, you will see the currency rate and the new function. So you click New, and here you can enter the currency you want. So buy rate and sell rate, you can update the buy rate and sell rate. This exchange, the gain account is usually gain on foreign exchange or loss on foreign exchange. And this exchange is also general ledger. So it depends on how you want to set it. This is the system's default currency, and you can set different points in time with different currencies. You can set this point in time as October. For October, the rate is 4.2. Then when you get to November, you can set it to 4.3, no problem. So you can set it like this.
After you set it, this currency will appear in various places like ARs, AP, sales, and purchase, allowing you to fill it in. All right, let me show everyone a sample.
Let's say I open a sales invoice. When I add a debtor here, let's say I add a USD, it defaults to MYR. You can change this customer to USD. You change it to USD. So this customer is now USD. Remember, you must change this before you issue the invoice. If you issue the invoice and you put MIR and then you realize you made a mistake, you can't change it. Once the wrong currency is set and the invoice is issued, it records that this customer is transacting in RM. If you want to change the currency, it would have to recalculate all invoices from zero, which is not allowed in this situation. So you set it to USD before creating the invoice. When you create the invoice, you will see a rate below. So if it's November, it will be 4.3. And for October, it will be 4.2 because I set the rate for October. If I haven't set it, it will take 4, the default currency rate. If I haven't changed any currency, it will directly use the default currency. The whole concept is like this. Then when we issue an invoice, you just need to select USD and it will switch to USD. If it's a regular local customer, let's say I add another customer, new customer. This one is MIR, they are MIR. Their rate is definitely 1-to-1. Unless he is a USD customer, then he allows you to change this rate. So here you are still allowed to change that rate. If you think the rate is 4.1, you can still change it to 4.1. So 1000 USD, it will convert to Malaysian ringgit at 4.1. 4.1, so you save it here. So the whole invoice is actually very simple to use.
So when we make the payment, this invoice is 4.1.
But if we make a payment, let's say this is in USD and it's paid in November, you will see here that the rate is 4.3. So when you make the payment, you can use Malaysian ringgit to pay, or you can use a USD bank to pay. If it's a USD bank, you can open a USD bank account. Here, the multi-currency feature is not only used for debtors and creditors, but it can also be used for the bank account. All the balance sheet accounts can be converted to different currencies. However, the profit and loss account cannot be converted. It is not allowed. For example, the sales account in the profit and loss account cannot be converted to a different currency. But if it is a bank account, let's say this is a USD bank. So let's say cash at bank.
Here, you can change it here. You choose here. This can be exchanged to US dollars. And here you can open a new account called US dollar bank, or it can be Medibank US dollar. Then you save it. You can see there is an additional bank US dollar.
When repaying, receive payment, new, here you can select this USD bank. So the rate is the same. You see which month and day you want to put. If it's November, you just enter November. And here he might repay 250. So when we take this invoice, you save, it will help you calculate.
If you don't check out, just press no. So it will calculate the gain or loss for you. It will calculate how much the gain or loss is. It will calculate the currency. Let's check the currency again. Let's see this invoice. You see it is 4.1. And when paying back, it is 4.3. So the difference is 0.2 of 250.
So when we save, you will see it is $50, $50, 250 multiplied by 0.2. So the gain loss is $50. So it calculates automatically for you. So you will see on this profit and loss statement here, if it is paid in November, so we look at the November account, you will find the gain on foreign exchange, $50. So it automatically calculates for you. You need to look back at its ledger. You can see here, edit, view posting detail. It has a ledger on this currency gain loss ledger. It can also be used, not just USD, it can also use Ringgit Malaysia to repay. It will automatically calculate whether it's November or December. It helps you convert back to Malaysian Ringgit. So this conversion back to Malaysian Ringgit, you don't have to follow it. You can also change it, no problem. You can change it. So you can use Malaysian Ringgit or Malaysian Ringgit to pay. The customer can also use it if it's Malaysian Ringgit. Maybe it's 1,000 Malaysian Ringgit. When they pay, it will calculate and convert to 200 US dollars.
So in this situation, when you save it, it will also help you convert that gain loss. It will take 1 divided by 0.232558. It will take back that USD rate and help you calculate that gain loss. The whole concept is like this.
So you see, actually in the invoice or AR invoice sections, you can select this rate. It shows an additional rate, and here you can choose the rate from different points in time. You can take this 4.3, so even though it's October, it's possible. Then under the sales invoice, it's the same. So if you want to take the rate for November, you just select November and it will automatically update the rate for November without any issues. Then another thing you can note is the purchase invoice. For the purchase invoice, we can also allow the supplier to be a USD supplier and also allow the currency to be USD. So when we are purchasing goods, you will often encounter this situation, or when making payments, you will encounter this. So when we pay back the supplier, its decimals will have some small currency differences. Maybe when you pay back 2,500, the currency rate will be very small.
So sometimes there might be a difference of 2 or 3 cents, which is not the problem. You can adjust the local amount yourself if there is a slight difference.
You can change it yourself, and after you change it, you note it off, then don't change this rate. Once you change this rate, the local amount will follow. So this is your final local amount. If you find that, hey, the calculation is different from yours, it's usually because of the decimals. There's a slight difference in the calculation. So you can pay attention to this. Then similarly, it still helps you calculate the currency gain or loss. So earlier we talked about maintaining currency, talked about currency by period, and then debtor and creditor can open different currencies. Bank can open different currencies. I also showed some transactions for your own testing. Then payment using different currencies. Using debtor currency USD or using RM was also discussed. Then it is realized. Realized means when checking repayment, it knows the difference with the invoice, how much the currency is. There's another called unrealized, which we will discuss in the next video about what unrealized gain or loss is. So this currency module only covers realized. If you want unrealized, you need to watch another video. So finally, we look at some reports, some ledger reports. I just highlight some of the more important reports. So the ones that are commonly used, very useful and frequently used, I will highlight these reports, including debt aging, the ledger report, and the audit trail report, because these can show the currency, the rate, or whether the payment was made in Malaysian Ringgit or in USD, and what the rate was on that day. These reports are very useful for auditor checks.
First, look at the ledger report. The ledger report of AutoCount, the ledger report is here in the GL ledger report. So let's say
So I until November, November. So if you don't want this detail, you don't check the show double entry and show transaction description. So if you check it, it will be very detailed. If there are 10 items, it will list those items. So if you don't want this detail, we don't check it. When we don't check it, when you preview, you will see these 2 additional reports if you have the multi-currency module. So the difference between this report and that report is multi-currency. This one will be a bit more detailed.
You use Malaysian Ringgit to pay. it will show Malaysian ringgit. If you use United States dollars to pay, it will show United States dollars. If you use this currency, dual currency, it depends on the account. If this account is a debtor and it is in United States dollars, it will convert everything to United States dollars. This bank is in United States dollars, it will convert everything to United States dollars.
So it is a little different. You see that this USD, no matter what currency you use to repay, it converts everything back to USD. But if we look at the same thing using the multi-currency ledger, you will see the currencies in detail, what currency is used to repay and what the rate is. It is very clear about what the rate was at that time, very detailed.
If you want to see these transactions in detail, you can click back into them. You can click back in to see the detailed transaction, or the detailed transaction, you can look back into it.
So here, you'll see that is the currency for this USD bank. So it will show here. It will show here. So the whole concept, that ledger report is roughly like this. So debtor aging, because here it has two currencies. Let me create another debtor, which is in Malaysian ringgit. I'll create another currency in Malaysian ringgit.
That customer. This RM is 5,200. So let's look at debtor aging. So when we look at the debtor aging report, here you will notice it has two currencies. So when there are two currencies, usually the total is not shown.
If it is shown, it might mislead the customer. 6,200, is it in Malaysian ringgit or US dollars? Generally, it is not shown unless you choose to view it in local currency. If you want to view it in local currency, in this situation, it can be shown. We can add up this local currency column.
So when you preview, you can also see different formats. So you see this is for two currencies. If you show this debtor aging will help you convert back to the Malaysian ringgit. And if you don't want to convert, it directly shows the debtor's currency.
In this situation, when you look at this report, it shows two different currencies. If you show the total, it will be strange. And if you misread, it might mislead some information. So if you want to look at this multi-currency, it will show two currencies, but it won't add them up for you.
So if you want to add it first, remember, you need to convert it first. There are two types of conversion. You see here, you can convert based on the document, which is the purchase invoice or sales invoice, or based on the current or today's currency. If today's currency is 4.6, you just put 4.6 and it will convert based on this 4.6. There are two ways to convert and it becomes 4.6. So if you have documents, you have 10 invoices, each invoice with different dates and different currency rates, it will be based on the document's currency rate. So there are two different methods, but you must show the local currency, this grade option. The grade option is the total it wants to add. It must show this local currency. You must remember this.
So this is debtor aging. So the very last one, there are some more useful ones. So more detailed checking. We call it audit trail. So all these functions have this print listing.
It seems like AI invoice. I have the print listing for AI invoice. If it's a credit note, there's a print listing for the credit note. So in these print listings, you can see we have a multi-currency convert listing. So it will show what currency was used for that transaction and what rate was for that transaction. It will be very detailed at these points.
So far, if you use a purchase invoice, if the auditor wants to see, you can also show this kind of currency audit trail listing to them. So generally, we will have it shown. Yes, it is shown. So you can print it out for the auditor if they have specific requests. Of course, if you only want a certain currency, you just select documents for that specific currency.
So there are some options here. You don't need to print all of the AP invoice transactions for him. If you only need certain ones, payments can also be, and you can also write a listing and you can choose certain currencies. Similarly, it will also have this multi-currency audit trail listing type of report. Thus, the basic functionality of multi-currency is roughly like this. And if you're interested in learning more about the AutoCount multi-currency features, you can watch our multi-currency version 2.0 video. Thank you, everyone.